Hey guys, it's Max. So last night, I went to go see the new Evil Dead movie with a bunch of friends. Afterwards, when we were talking about the movie, my one friend mentioned that tonight, he was going to sleep like a baby. Screaming and crying.
We're gonna get you, not another beat. Time to go to sleep.
I've never actually seen the original The Evil Dead movie, which is from 1981, which was directed by Sam Raimi, but I've always heard so much good about it and the following two movies, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. But going into this one, I had high expectations because I had heard a lot about it. Mainly what I had heard was it was going to be a lot darker and more violent than the original, so be prepared, there is a lot of gore. I'll just say it, I've never been a big fan of horror films. It used to be because I was scared as hell of them, but nowadays I just kind of find them boring. But Evil Dead is not like that. It is an extremely entertaining movie. And trust me, between the blood, the suspense, and just the stunning visuals in this movie, you will not be bored by it. As usual, I'm going to try and keep this review as spoiler-free as possible, but seeing as this is a remake, and so many pieces of this review are going to come from major points of the plot or specific details, I can't go entirely spoiler-free, but I will try and avoid as many major plot spoilers as possible. While this movie does have 5 main characters just like in the original Evil Dead, they're not the same people. They don't have the same names, and the fates of each of them will be slightly different from the original Evil Dead. And that is one major thing about this new remake that a lot of people don't realize. At South by Southwest, Sam Raimi announced that there would be an Evil Dead 2 along with an Army of Darkness 2, along with a 7th film in the franchise which would connect the narratives of Ash Williams from the original Evil Dead trilogy and the survivor from the end of this Evil Dead movie. As far as acting and characters go in this movie, it was a solid cast. There was no really weak links among the main cast, but there were some scenes where the cast as a whole was weaker than others, but for the most part, it was fairly good. But there was one exception. At the very beginning, in this sort of pivotal scene, the one actor playing a father was really weak, and it kind of ruined the moment, which was supposed to be a big suspenseful moment leading up to the events of the rest of the movie. Sam Raimi, the producer of this film, was the one who directed all 3 of the original Evil Dead movies. Now, this movie is directed by Fede Alvarez, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Although many people were skeptical about the change in director, Sam Raimi fully backed the project and agreed on the darker tone that the movie was going to take. Speaking of the darker tone that this movie was going to take, this movie contained a lot of blood and gore. I'm talking next level stuff. It gave new meaning to the phrase, gory as hell. But that being said, it did have an almost laughably gory ending, where it was just raining blood, blood everywhere, just blood splattering out. Honestly, me and a few other people just started cheering at the end, because you just couldn't take it serious as like a suspenseful, dramatic ending. While I wasn't scared by this movie, per se, I saw a lot of people in the theater who were like eye-covering, turning away scared. Now, there were a few moments in this movie where I was absolutely cringing and squirming because of how brutal and disgusting some scenes were. You're not going to get through this movie without at least being terrified in some form. Trust me. The only other major complaint I had with this movie was the nail gun scene. How many movies is it going to take before Hollywood realizes that a nail gun can't fire unless it's pushed up against a wall or an object? It has a safety feature to prevent it from firing freehand. But, that being said, it's obviously a cliche that has to be put in just for the point of the movie and the plot. But also, how many nails can a person be shot with before they just can't function anymore? I mean, seriously, one of the main characters, he takes a piece of buckshot in the arm, only like 1 or 2, multiple nails throughout his hand and chest, and just everything else, knife cuts to the arm, and somehow he's still able to function pretty much up to the end of the movie. That sort of thing just bugs me, probably because I pay too much attention to that sort of details. One last thing to say, A lot of critics, while they have been giving this movie generally very good scores, like 7s, 8s, a few 9s, I have seen a lot of critics criticize this movie for its lack of originality and things to that effect. Well, I'm sorry, but this is a remake. How much originality do you want? It's produced by Sam Raimi. The whole idea was to be faithful to the original The Evil Dead movie, but still bring a new tone and feel to the movie. You can't take that much liberty without making it a different movie entirely. Overall, Evil Dead was an extremely entertaining and satisfying movie to watch. It delivered on what it said it would do. Update the Evil Dead movie while still staying faithful to the original. I was originally thinking of giving this movie an 8 out of 10, but after thinking on it for a while and also talking to a few of the people who have seen the movie, I've decided that I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is a solid movie that definitely deserves this rating. It was a faithful remake of the original, which still added so much to it as far as just blood, gore, and entertainment and just sheer terror are concerned. Now, that is to say I did still have a few gripes, but those are relatively minor, but still prevented it from getting a perfect 10. Now, a perfect 10 for me does not mean it's a perfect movie. It just means that it's like the optimal combination of entertainment, solid filmmaking, and otherwise just, I liked it. Because in the end, this is subjective. There's no such thing as an objective movie review. And anyone who says that there is, well... So, did you guys like The Evil Dead? What do you prefer? The new one or the original Sam Raimi Evil Dead? Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what you want me to review next. Trailers, movies, television shows. Otherwise, please like, favorite, subscribe. Every bit of feedback and support I get helps to grow my channel and will put out better content for you guys. Until next time, see ya!